As an institution committed to the pure teachings of Buddhism, the Maha Tare Buddhist Centre was founded in 2012 by our precious teacher Geshe Lama Konchok, who dedicated and continues to dedicate his life to serving the community here in Singapore and beyond. Today we celebrate not just the centre's 8th anniversary, but also a significant milestone in the life of Geshe Konchok. So this is the story we wish to present this evening of both the centre and Geshe Lama Konchok, who turns 50 today. Geshe Lama Konchok became a monk at the age of 12 and spent his entire life engaging in the study of Buddhism. After over 20 years of monastic education in the Tibetan Gelugpa yellow hat tradition at J Monastic University, he was awarded a doctorate in Buddhist philosophy and dialectics. Geshe-la comes from a long lineage of lamas proficient in the sutras and tantras and rejoices in their wisdom and kindness. Amongst Geshe-la's lineage gurus are the late Geshe Jamyang Nima, who was one of Geshe-la's very first gurus in the early 1980s. The late Detang Shavang Rinpoche, from whom Geshe-la received his earliest monastic vows. The late Khenso Lundrum Rigzil Rinpoche, former abbot of Kopan Monastery in Nepal, who looked after the welfare of literally many thousands of monks, including Geshe-la himself, who over the years passed through the hallowed gates of Kopan Monastery in Nepal. The late Khenso Lobsang Tsering Rinpoche, who taught Geshe-la extensively during his time at J Monastic University. His Eminence Lobsang Tenzin Rinpoche, the present and 104th Ganden Tripa, the spiritual head of the Gelugpa Yellow Hat Order, was also one of Geshe-la's main teachers at J Monastic University. His Eminence Khenso Lobsang Delek Rinpoche, who was former abbot of both J Monastic University and Jume Tantric College. Geshe-la rejoices in the infinite kindness of Geshe Lama Zopa Rinpoche of Kopan Monastery, whose efforts at preserving the Tibetan Mahayana tradition is second to none. The wheel of the Dharma continues to be turned by the enlightened masters who have returned again and again to teach all sentient beings. The 7th Ling Rinpoche, the root guru of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, is one such example, and another one of the precious teachers of Geshe-la. After Geshe-la came of age, it became clear to him that in order to best benefit society and sentient beings, and to enable the teachings of the Buddha to reach all who needed it, Geshe-la made it his goal to become learned in the Dharma. Through applying his mind to rigorous study and meditation, Geshe-la obtained his Geshe degree in 2012 after 23 years of intensive studies. The curriculum for Geshe-la's studies provided an unparalleled grounding in the teachings of our Lord Buddha, and placed him, like many other Geshes, in a position to understand the true nature of phenomenon and of how the human mind reacts to whatever we face in the world. Through intensive meditation, study, debate, and analysis of the scriptures, Geshe-la is able today to help so many of us with the problems that we encounter in our lives, and to give us, as a member of the Sangha, a source of refuge, strength, and direction. On this day, Geshe-la remembers and rejoices in the wisdom, kindness, and patience of all his lineage teachers who have painstakingly guided him on the path of our Lord Buddha and the development of compassion for all sentient beings. As part of its suite of annual activities, the Centre organizes pilgrimages and trips to places of religious significance each year. Over the years, the Centre and its members and friends have visited various places of religious significance, including one to the residence of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. This took place in 2013 at His Holiness's residence in Ladakh, India. As the embodiment of compassion, His Holiness constantly reminds us of the inherent goodness of all humanity, a teaching which Geshe-la frequently returns to in his Dharma talks. Regarding itself as an integral part of the community we live in, the Centre regularly sponsors and takes part in charity work in order to bring benefit to the wider society. It also takes part in distribution of food and clothes to the elderly in old folks' homes throughout the country, and also organizes prayer recitations for them, bringing peace of mind to all. Geshe-la and the Centre remain ever grateful to the kindness we have received from all in Singapore and the broader society in which we live. As a religious society, the Centre organizes a number of large-scale events, many of which are unique to the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. The Fire Puja is one of the larger and more significant events of the year. Fire rituals are unique to the Mahayana Tantric tradition and are known to be amongst the most powerful of Tibetan Buddhist rituals. The Centre regularly performs two main fire rituals, one in devotion to Buddha Vajrabhairava, Yamantaka in Tibetan, himself an emanation of Lord Manjusri, and the wealth deity Zambala. These fire rituals are aimed at removing obstacles that impede our spiritual path and practices, and which obstruct us from obtaining spiritual realizations, mental contentment, and physical well-being. These tantric rituals are performed by a tantric master in order for one to accomplish both personal and universal objectives and goals. The rites involve a series of preparatory rites, the actual fire offerings, and include meditative visualization, tantric transformation, mantra recitation, offering of ritual cakes, burning of medicinal herbs and substances through Homa rites, amongst others. Prayers, invocations, and offerings are mostly made to one's spiritual guru, Buddha Shakyamuni, meditational deities, the primordial Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Dakas, Dakinis, Dharma protectors, guardian deities, and treasure gods. The Centre also organizes the offering of treasure vases to the Nagas on an annual basis. According to Buddhist tradition, humans coexist with countless other living beings in this world, with each living in their respective habitats in the same or adjacent world systems. Some live alongside us, some live below us, and some in the space above us. There are times when we may, either knowingly or unwittingly, engage in acts or omissions of body, speech, or mind that may have the effect of not only harming ourselves, but also contaminating the environment where such other beings live. These negative actions create the causes and conditions for negative experiences such as the lack of success in our endeavors, illness, and the pain of separation. Our pollution of the natural habitat such as the land and the water, through mundane activities like washing, bathing, driving, and so forth, can also have the potential to upset the balance and therefore incur the wrath of animals, spirits, nagas, and local deities. These can potentially culminate in natural calamities such as epidemics, earthquakes, and floods. To assist in atoning for all our negative actions, the Centre conducts the Naga vase ritual, which involves the offering of biodegradable and environmentally harmless vases filled with medicinal herbs and substances. The rituals and prayers are aimed at keeping at bay any natural disasters that may be caused or contributed by the Nagas. 3 times each year, the Centre organizes an animal or life liberation ritual. Buddhists believe that the consciousness that resides in each and every one of us has assumed many different forms from time immemorial. It is therefore believed that while we presently exist in this human form, there would have been times that we would have been born in other realms, including the animal realm. This is the basis of the Buddhist belief that all beings, including animals, or the consciousness that reside in them, may have been our parents in our past lives. It is also believed that liberating animals, particularly those which have been captured or have been bred for the slaughterhouse, is an act of kindness that will lead to one accumulating immense merits. The life liberation rituals are scheduled during special periods when the effect of virtuous actions are multiplied manifold. and these periods are the Lunar New Year period, Vesak day, and during the 7th lunar month. The 7th lunar month is an important part of the Buddhist calendar, most popularly known as the month of the hungry ghosts, given the belief that those languishing in the realm of the hungry ghosts may be released from that realm. It is generally a time when we remember our friends and loved ones who have departed. It is during this time of the year that prayers are made and the merits from those prayers dedicated to the departed, as it is believed that during this period, merits can be most effectively transferred to the intended recipients. As compassion for all sentient beings, regardless of the realms that they are born in, is a fundamental tenet of our Buddhist belief, the Centre also conducts prayers during this period for pets of friends and members of the Centre. It is believed that through these prayers and transference of merits, the pets may themselves have the seeds of enlightenment planted in them and will be destined for a better rebirth in their lives to come. In keeping with Lord Buddha's admonition not to believe whatever he says simply because he, as the Buddha, said it, the Centre provides many opportunities for learning and discussing the Dharma. It also organizes meditation classes, pujas, and Geshe Konchok is always also available for consultation. The Centre is a small and friendly community, and the culture of mutual respect, brotherhood, and sisterhood is a unique hallmark that the Centre is very proud of. Relief to those in need is one of the main aims of the Centre, and it is with that principle in mind that the Centre participates regularly in distribution of food and drink. It is apt to remind ourselves of the teachings of the great Shantideva in the Bodhicharya Avatarya in the most beautiful of verses. For all the beings ailing in the world, until their sickness has been healed, may I become the doctor and the cure, and may I nurse them back to health. Bringing down a shower of food and drink, may I dispel the pains of thirst and hunger, and in those times of scarcity and famine, may I myself appear as food and drink. Celebrating milestones is always a way to remind ourselves of the purpose behind our hard work. In our 4th and 5th years, the Centre had similar celebrations, and in whatever celebratory event that the Centre organizes, these are invariably graced by members of the Sangha, the ordained community, who ensure that our prayers for world peace and peace for our country and society will reach the eyes and ears of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and their infinite pure lands, blessing each and every one with good fortune and happiness. At the Centre, we are ever so often reminded through Geshe-la's example of the importance of the Sangha as being part of our refuge in the Triple Gem. It is keeping that in mind that the offering of robes remains an important mark of respect. Over the years, the Centre has made robe offerings to almost 1,000 monks at Kopan Monastery in Nepal, and the Centre has also taken part in raising funds in aid of disaster relief. At the Centre, we are constantly reminded of how fortunate we are, and the constant reflection on keeping the less fortunate in mind is an integral part of our practices and in developing to become better individuals for our society, family, and country. As a hallmark of the Gelugpa tradition, which is known to place heavy emphasis on study and knowledge of the sutras, the Centre is proud to have a very well-stocked library containing books in both the English and Chinese languages on all facets and aspects of Buddhism. All members and friends are always welcome to the Centre, whether to browse in the library or to engage in quiet time and meditative prayer. The having of a library has been made possible through the vision and dedication of Geshe-la, to whom the Centre is ever grateful. The Centre has also been instrumental in the spreading of teachings and providing of empowerments from the most eminent of Buddhist masters, not least the guru and teacher of Geshe-la. Last year, His Eminence Khenso Lobsang Delek Rinpoche came to Singapore and gave teachings on the way of the Bodhisattva or the Bodhicharya Avatarya, and also a Tantric empowerment for Lord Chenrezig, Lord Hayagriva, and Medicine Buddha. It was also a joyous occasion for the centre, as it coincided with His Eminence Khenso Lobsang Blek Rinpoche's 80th birthday, which the centre was able to celebrate for His Eminence. The events, conducted over a week, were attended by almost 700 people. In the last 4 years, the centre has organised week-long programs leading up to what most Singaporeans know as the most important date in the Buddhist calendar, Vesak Day. Apart from the ritual of bathing a rupa or statue representing Lord Buddha Shakyamuni in his childhood, which is believed to allow practitioners to accumulate merit and eliminate aeons of negative karma, the centre also organises an activity unique to the Tibetan Vajrayana tradition. About a week before Vesak Day, the centre's monks on secondment from the Gyumit Tantric College in India, where Geshe-la himself also studied, will begin a painstaking process of assembling what is known as a sand mandala using fine grains of multicolored sand. The sand mandalas are two-dimensional representations of the residential abodes of the relevant deities. The sand mandala is then consecrated through a series of visualizations and invocation of the relevant deity to take its abode in the mandala, only for the beautiful mandala to be disassembled and dissolved after Vesak Day. The dissolution ritual is a reminder to us about the impermanence of all things, and accordingly a reminder to us to cherish each day that we have. The sand from the dissolved mandala is placed on the crown of those present at the ritual and is regarded as a highest blessing. The remnants of the sand will be placed into the seas or rivers to allow the water to carry the blessings from these rituals across the land. Some of the residual sand will be kept with the centre and is made available to whoever would like to have them. It is believed that they can bring benefit to those in possession of them. In the last 4 years, the mandalas of the deities Chenrezig, Amitabha, Medicine Buddha and most recently Yamantaka have been constructed in conjunction with the Vesak Day celebration. Through the support of our friends and members, the centre and Geshe-la hope that we can continue this unique tradition and bring as much benefit as we can to everyone. We all acknowledge that in life there are times when one has to discover and perhaps retune oneself. The centre organises annual retreats ranging from a weekend where attendees will strictly observe the 8 precepts to the recitation ritual of 100 million Om Mani Padme Hum. Over the last 5 years, these activities have attracted and benefited many, and the centre and Geshe Lama Konchok hope to continue these myriad activities, and may they bring happiness and its causes to everyone. Thank you for your very kind attention and for being here with us. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum.